Today on the Rockbridge Report, snow and ice lace roads and sidewalks across the county. Schools and offices are closed, and it isn't over yet. We'll tell you what to expect before you hit the road this evening. And a new program facilitated by Main Street Lexington is reimbursing local businesses. We'll tell you just how much money Lexington City Council is providing for the project. And Avalon Purnell will take you inside local churches where COVID-19 is changing attendance patterns. All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Lily Mott and I'll be joined later in the newscast by my co-anchor Carly Snyder, Sean Lee on sports, and Andrew Arnold, who is tracking our winter storm right now. That winter storm warning from the National Weather Service is in effect in the Rockbridge area until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Temperatures are fluctuating in the upper 20s and low 30s. We can expect more freezing rain throughout the evening. The storm made for slushy sidewalks and slick roads for commuters this morning. Crews are still hard at work keeping roads clear of ice and snow. Public schools and government offices in Buena Vista, Lexington, and Rockbridge County closed for the day. Washington and Lee University held all of its classes online. Virginia Military Institute administrative offices were closed, but classes were held as usual. The Rockbridge County Courthouse and the Blue Ridge Resource Authority Landfill and Collection Center are also closed due to the inclement weather. The Rockbridge Area Health Center will also be closed until tomorrow at 10 a.m. COVID-19 vaccinations are climbing in Virginia this week, but yesterday, Governor Ralph Northam said the state is still falling short of its desired inoculation rate. Virginia's coronavirus dashboard showed Wednesday afternoon that more than 1.4 million doses have been administered. About 366,000 people have been fully vaccinated. Northam has signed legislation that will allow dentists, medical students, and others to administer the vaccine. The number of new coronavirus cases has been declining in Virginia since early January. The White House announced a sweeping immigration bill Democrats will introduce into Congress Thursday. It significantly shortens the path to citizenship for most undocumented immigrants, but even with Democratic majorities in both chambers, it still faces an uphill battle. CNN's Jeremy Diamond explains.
President Biden announcing a sweeping immigration reform bill this morning, aiming to give a path to citizenship to the roughly 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States. The bill proposes an 8-year timeline to become a citizen, with special exemptions for farm workers, those here on humanitarian grounds, and immigrants who entered the U.S. illegally as children, allowing them to immediately apply for a green card. All immigrants must have entered the U.S. before January 1st of this year. The president's focus on immigration reform would fulfill a key campaign promise, but he'll face a tough fight from Republicans on Capitol Hill to approve any legislation. Biden administration officials say it'll be up to Congress to decide if they want to pass one comprehensive bill or split it into smaller pieces, a possibility the president hinted he's open to this week.
If you had a refugee bill by itself, I'm not suggesting that, but there's things that I would deal by itself, but not at the expense of saying I'm never going to do the other. There is a reasonable path to citizenship.
Biden delaying a tour of a Pfizer manufacturing facility in Michigan due to weather concerns. But in Washington, the president is continuing to make the case for his $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief plan.
I learned based on the polling data, they want everything is in the plan. Not a joke. It's not about the money, it's about in order to do everything from open schools as we should to make sure that we're generating income for people who are in real trouble.
Biden has yet to convince a single Republican senator to support his relief package, and his proposal to raise the minimum wage also hitting snags with 2 Senate Democrats. Most Democrats say it's time to push forward, even without Republican votes.
President Biden made it quite clear we need to go big or go home. But he is clearly prepared, if we have to go it alone on the Democratic side of the aisle, that we are prepared to do that, to bring much needed relief to the American people.
Experts think certain parts of the bill could win bipartisan support if it is broken up. For example, a bill already in Congress that reintroduces the DREAM Act was sponsored by Republican Lindsey Graham. The coronavirus pandemic is impacting small businesses across the country, and Lexington is no exception. City Council is trying to help. Crawford Humphreys has the story.
Business in Lexington slows down for shop owners typically after Christmas and doesn't pick up again until spring. But this year, it's even worse. The pandemic is limiting shopping and forcing local universities to postpone their major tourism-generating events.
Of course, all of that is evaporated with the pandemic, so it's just exacerbated by that.
Now, Lexington business owners are adapting their strategies with a little help from City Council and Main Street Lexington, a local nonprofit that supports economic development downtown. On February 4th, City Council unanimously approved a $60,000 business reimbursement program. The program will cover up to $400 in advertising, promotional, and shipping costs per business. Main Street Lexington Executive Director Rebecca Logan says the plan allows each store to play to its strengths.
This allows our businesses to promote themselves in ways that work best for them rather than a one-stop-fits-all.
Just Games Lexington co-owner Xander Tallman says he will use the funding to offer free shipping. That's something small businesses need to keep up with larger online retailers.
We occasionally ship items for people, but we usually pass on the shipping costs because we just can't cover them ourselves. And so while the funds last, we're most likely going to be offering free shipping.
Just across the street, Celtic Tides is taking a different approach with the $400. The owners are buying more radio ads to attract customers for St. Patrick's Day.
We did this week on the radio, and I had somebody come drive an hour and a half on Monday morning to come and see us because they heard about us on the radio.
Lexington Mayor Frank Friedman says the program will demonstrate that the city wants and needs for small businesses to succeed.
Government in particular, city government, local government is here in support of them.
Now, the business reimbursement program is set to run until April, and at that point, City Council will have a choice of whether or not to renew it. Reporting right here in downtown Lexington, I'm Crawford Humphreys, Rockbridge Report.
The Virginia Department of Motor Vehicles opened its new Lexington location on Monday. It reopened a year after the pandemic shut down the previous storefront on Walker Street. The new office in the Stonewall Square shopping center has updated amenities, increased space, and more customer service stations. Virginia Delegate Ronnie Campbell of the 24th District said he pushed for renovations after hearing complaints from people who live in his district. He said they had to travel to Roanoke or Lynchburg and had to put up with the inconvenience for too long. The DMV is operating on an appointment-only basis to accommodate social distancing. The Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors is considering getting rid of car decals. County residents must buy a $25 decal to stick on their windshield every year. The stickers help identify residents when they take trash to a collection center. The decals bring in about $500,000 for the county each year. County Revenue Commissioner David Whitesell says the board's options to replace the decal include raising the personal property tax and issuing residents a free permanent sticker. The Board of Supervisors will hold a work session on February 22nd to discuss the options. When we come back, lawmakers encourage Americans to remain cautious of COVID-19 variants. We'll tell you what officials say you should do to reduce the spread.
And students are getting creative at home in the age of virtual learning. We'll show you how one student is staying engaged in his PE classes. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Carly Snyder. A new warning from top U.S. health officials about coronavirus variants. New reports suggest those mutations could lead to a rapid rise in COVID-19 cases if Americans become complacent. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
All eyes on the highly contagious coronavirus variants as more mutations are identified in the U.S.
I know these variants are concerning, especially as we're seeing signs of progress. I'm talking about them today because I am concerned too.
While COVID-19 cases are falling in the U.S., two new reports by the CDC warn the variants could cause a rapid rise in COVID-19 cases. In one report, researchers from the CDC and Minnesota Health Department detailed cases of the variant first identified in the UK. Earlier modeling data suggested this variant, which may be more transmissible, could become the predominant variant in the United States in March. And officials are urging people to take action to reduce spread.
When your turn to get vaccinated comes up, get vaccinated. It's not only good for you, and your family and your community, it will have a very important impact on the dynamics of the outbreak in our country.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is now saying it'll be May or June before all Americans could have access to COVID vaccines. Originally, he said it would be April. However, the rollout of Johnson & Johnson's single-dose COVID vaccine will be much slower than expected because of a production miscommunication. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The experts say the same prevention methods can help slow the spread of the variants, including wearing a mask, social distancing, and hand washing. Schools in the Rockbridge area are starting preparation for summer school programs. Administrators, teachers, and parents are worried that students have experienced setbacks in their educational development because of the learning challenges they faced in the COVID-19 pandemic. But some students are staying positive and getting creative with their virtual courses. This is Jack Laffey. He is a fourth grader at Harrington Waddell Elementary, and he created his own obstacle course at home for his physical education class. Rockbridge County education official Jason Kirby says online learning hit elementary education the hardest. He says it is almost impossible to teach a large group of children how to read over a video screen. Churches, like everyone else, are nearing the one-year anniversary of operating in the COVID-19 pandemic. Some local pastors are worried more than others about the long-term impact on attendance. Avalon Purnell has the story.
In a year where hugs and handshakes can transmit COVID-19, some pastors are offering services online and in person to meet the needs of their congregations. And while the transition was bumpy at first, moving online had an unexpected impact, an apparent boost in service attendance.
Before we went online, we averaged about 60 in person. Now, it can be anywhere from 150 to 250 views on a Sunday morning.
But one Buena Vista pastor is worried about congregants who are using the online option because it's easier and more convenient for them.
People were becoming apathetic. The Bible tells us we should assemble ourselves together, and I think a lot of people are just not doing that when we should.
Hamilton says he understands older people who are afraid to be around others right now. But he became concerned after seeing some congregants out and about around town during the week, but not in the pews on Sunday.
You can go to a grocery store, you can go to a sporting event, you can go to an outdoor concert. You should be able to come to church.
Hamilton says he worries about the impact on the next generation of churchgoers if people get into the habit of attending services online.
If you see mom and dad sitting at home on a Sunday morning and you don't go, then, you're kind of compelling your kids and unfortunately teaching your kids, hey, it's easier to stay at home.
But the Grace Chapel pastor says moving online could bring evangelism into the digital age.
Our message over these 2,000 years has not changed, but sometimes the method, how we present it, it has to evolve.
Under Governor Northam's current executive order, churches like this one are operating below capacity to accommodate for social distancing. But as COVID-19 cases continue to decline across Virginia, pastors are optimistic that people will return to services in greater numbers than before. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Avalon Purnell.
Next on the Rockbridge Report, we'll show you how Texas is holding up in the wake of this week's snowstorm. I'll give you the 5-day forecast and tell you what conditions you can expect this weekend.
And later, Sean Lee will tell you about the Indianapolis Colts' newest quarterback, bring you up to speed on scores from the Australian Open, and a record-setting day for a WNL basketball player. All that and more next on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Andrew Arnold. The Arctic blast is slamming much of the country right now and is causing devastation in Texas. The death toll is rising, and hundreds of thousands remain without power as the electrical grid is buckling under the freezing temperatures. The power is slowly coming back online, but as the brutal weather continues, residents are losing patience. Daryl Forges is in Houston with the latest.
The winter misery continues here in the Lone Star State. Not only are Texans dealing with no power, but also no running water, and many say they're ready for this nightmare to be over.
The lights are out in the Lone Star State.
And they keep telling us, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I don't think I really believe that at this point.
Many Texans are facing another day in the dark and without heat.
Residents are frustrated, they're angry, they are cold.
what they're enduring and continue to endure is heartbreaking.
Many also going without water as freezing temperatures knocked out water plants and burst pipes in homes.
Our whole apartment!
Officials say the high demand and Arctic conditions have frozen gas pipes and crippled the state's power generation since Sunday.
Every source of power the state of Texas has access to has been compromised.
Officials say there is some good news. The power is slowly coming back online, outages dropping by at least 20% late Wednesday. But for many, it can't come back fast enough.
It's very stressful to be in a cold house.
The loss of power and water also impacting food supply chains, hospitals, and emergency services.
The low water pressure has meant that our hospitals can't adequately operate, our fire departments can't adequately operate.
Prolonging the misery, freezing rain overnight and into Thursday, coating much of the state in ice again.
Cold temperatures will remain across much of the state for the next few days.
And the winter storms are also causing issues when it comes to vaccine distribution. Several vaccination sites within the Lone Star State are closed due to power outages. In Houston, Texas, I'm Daryl Forges.
Here in Lexington, the power is still on and the water is still running, but with temperatures hovering around freezing, we've experienced a slew of ice, snow, and slush. More precipitation is expected this evening, and watch out for fog if you're driving on the road tonight, but things should warm up by tomorrow afternoon. Today, Lexington saw a high of 33 and a low of 29, with barometric pressure sitting at about 30 and 1700 inches of mercury. Winds were at 5 miles an hour south and humidity was at 94%. Across the state today, we saw precipitation this morning, but that is mostly cleared up, with only a little bit of isolated showers in the southwestern part of the state by Blacksburg. Lexington today was about 33 and cloudy, with that trend continuing around much of the state. Buena Vista was at 34 and cloudy, Stanton 29 and cloudy, Charlottesville 33 and cloudy, Lynchburg 32 and cloudy, and Roanoke and Covington 33 and 34 and cloudy, respectively. So lots of freezing temperatures and cloudy skies at the moment. Moving into the weekend, we'll be seeing some partly cloudy skies with a high of 46, low of 23 on Friday. On Saturday, a high of 36 and a low of 19 with also partly cloudy skies. And on Sunday, those cold temperatures hold up with a high of 41, low of 31, still with the partly cloudy skies. Monday, things heat up a little bit with the high of 46, low of 32, but there's a chance of snow as temperatures fall. And on Tuesday, we have the warmest day in a little while with a high of 53 and a low of 33 and sunny. Past that, we're going to be seeing even warmer temperatures as well. That's all from weather. When we come back, Sean Lee will show you the exact moment when a local university basketball star blew past a career milestone. Highlights coming up next in sports.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Sean Lee. Well, for the fourth season in a row, the Indianapolis Colts will have a new quarterback under center to begin the season. This afternoon, the Colts acquired the former number 2 overall pick, Carson Wentz, from the Eagles. The Colts had to give up only a third-round pick this year and a second-round pick next year to acquire the former MVP candidate. NFL reporters today have been critical of the Eagles for letting Wentz go for such a small price. The Eagles will go with Jalen Hurts, the former Heisman winner, to start their season. And the Australian Open continues tomorrow, as Jennifer Brady will play Naomi Osaka in the final at 7 p.m. Osaka defeated Serena Williams in the semifinals yesterday to advance. And in the men's bracket, the defending champion Novak Djokovic awaits the winner of tonight's semifinal between Daniel Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas. The finals will air Saturday at 7 p.m., and all matches will be on ESPN. And Washington Elite senior William Brueggemann became the 28th Generals player to score 1,000 career points during a come-from-behind win over Emory and Henry on Tuesday. The moment came late in the second half when Brueggemann made a three-pointer right in front of the Generals bench, and WNL head coach Chris McHugh quickly called a timeout to allow the team to celebrate the accomplishment. The team captain notched 28 points and 8 rebounds as the Generals erased an 11-point deficit to get the win. Brueggemann will have a chance to move higher up in the record books when the Generals play Shenandoah University on Friday. And the VMI men's soccer team defeated SVU 2-1 last night. Freshman Tate Pospickle scored the game winner in the 82nd minute to break a 1-1 tie. It was his first career goal. Well, that's it for sports. Lily, back to you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Lily Mott. Join us again for our live news update on Tuesday at 3:30 for more of the latest in news, weather, and sports. Thanks for watching.